Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
We are back. I am so excited to bring you a fabulous show today. Hang on. So if you are a woman, you need to hear this. If you are a man loving a woman, you need to hear this. We actually have an amazing guest, Miss Dr. Leslie Hewitt, who knows so much I can't even tell you, but we are going to just talk a little bit today about menopause. So I am 50 something, and I have been dealing with this for a long time. If you have wondered about this, have you maybe even experienced some hot flashes or from some night sweats, or saw your mother or your grandmother or your friends, or you're experiencing it yourself, this is the show for you. Go call everyone, text them, tell them to join us today. This is going to be groundbreaking for you because it's going to be a real talk. And this is what I love about my podcast, because it is real. It is real people talking about real issues going on throughout the day. And we always leave it on an upswing. We're always positive, and you are going to get tips and tricks that you can put into your life today. In fact, if you stay till the end, you will actually have a free gift, of course. So without further ado, I am going to bring in my friend and amazing, amazing woman that I totally respect, adore, and love to hear more from, Miss Dr. Leslie Hewitt.
Hello there, Jennifer.
Hi, we get to play together. I'm so excited.
Yay. Yes, it's been a while. We used to play a lot when we both lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. And now that we're on opposite sides of the country, and we got used to doing this during COVID. So I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about you. I know I could go on for pages and pages, but I'm just going to do a little bit. So, wrong mouse. Okay. Technical issues as always. So I met Dr. Leslie Hewitt when she was doing the WOW Talks, Women of Wellness. And so I'm going to dive right in with that. She founded her clinic in San Francisco Bay Area, over 20 years of private practice with total patients every day. So you know what that's like if you know that. She sold her practice in 2018. She had the WOW Talks during that time, which is when I got to come to her office and actually join her on stages and be in the amazing audience, when I learned a lot from her as well. She launched successful conferences, at least 8 chapters for the Women in TED Talk format, which we did women speaking on everything. Like we talked about so much: aging, aging without meds, being able to balance a busy lifestyle, boomer brain power, depression, feminine leadership, nutrition, sex, and many other topics. I mean, we talked so much about just our daily lifestyle and how to do that with being an entrepreneur and being in business. I learned a lot from you. Is that we actually did a vision board workshop at your office, which I still have my vision board. Love, love, love it. She also, what I like about you, Leslie, is that you actually look at both views. You look at the holistic view, but then you also look at the medical view that we've all been grown up with, right? But you're also bringing in new ways to look at things, which is what I go to you for sure. This is really cool, y'all. She became the 4th female president of the California Chiropractic Association, founded in 1928. She served 2 terms as Madam President and went to Sacramento a ton, right? You were up there with all those amazing people and trying to get amazing healthcare for women and all of us in the capital and Washington, D.C. as well. Leslie, you're originally from Canada. I did not know that. Where you earned your undergraduate degree of psychology, focused on pre-med. Then you moved to San Francisco, where I met you, and have your doctorate in chiropractic. And now you are in Florida on the opposite side from me, and you're running Club Menopause. And of course, you're always serving on boards because you have so much education and experience that you can help so many people. So, first of all, I always ask everyone the same question. What did you spend money on in the last week or so that brought you joy?
Oh my goodness. Well, let me just see. I'm actually a saver. I'm not a spender. However, I'll tell you the big news in the last week. I'm looking at buying a business. And so I'm holding on to my money right now because I like to invest my money into things that generate revenue. So I'm not so much about buying stuff. And I always like to share with people, would you rather have freedom or would you rather have stuff? So I am actually in the process of looking at a business to buy right now.
That's exciting. That's exciting. And you brought up one of my favorite points. We've all grown up with save, save, save. And with our lifestyle and our modern technology, it's hard to just save, save, save. So what I help my clients with, and I know you do as well, we save for a reason. We have a plan. We save for a goal. We have something to save for. So then it's so much easier than just being, I would say, restricted on not living your lifestyle today, but for a reason. So you're going to buy a business, which is going to bring you another stream of income, which brings you more freedom and, of course, joy. I know you're at the place in your life now that you're not going to buy a business that's not going to either make a difference, bring you joy, add to your life. Like, it's not just for the money. It's actually to bring you joy as well, right?
Right.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is a money conversation, but I also want to bring in women's health because I think we do not pay attention to the stress in our body. And I think we get to a certain level and we get used to that stress and we don't realize that it is actually affecting our health. And so I know that is one of your actual total fortes. So if you could think of one thing that you would want to share with women right now about their health that maybe we don't know, or maybe that it's the opposite of mainstream media. And I know there's many things that you can share, but just one thing to get the conversation going. What would you bring up?
So, going through COVID, and a lot of people were at home and a lot of people were experiencing a lot of different types of stress, financial stress, emotional stress, spiritual stress. And stress, in my holistic perspective, can lead to dis-ease. And if you take a look at the word dis-ease, it's a lack of ease. So in all things, even if it is finances or hanging out at home with the kids or whatever it is that you're doing, it's trying to relax around it all. In other words, can you bring ease to a situation that feels stressful? Because if you're not in a state of ease, you are in a state of dis-ease.
So it's either or. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you're stressed out, you increase cortisol, you increase adrenaline. Those two chemicals start stimulating hormones. And once those hormones and chemicals are stimulated, there's a cascade of things that happen in the body. Your brain, your digestion, your sleep cycles, your hot flashes, everything can be stimulated from stress. So I would say my number one thing that I have shared with patients over the decades is ways to manage stress. because if you can do that, even if you're in a stressful situation, if you can learn to relax and keep the cortisol and the adrenaline in a state of parasympathetic, which is what we use in the healthcare model. You're either in sympathetic or parasympathetic. You're either in stress or not stress. You can't be in both places at the same time. So always be mindful, even if you're in a stressful situation, to start developing habits of relaxation and mindfulness around the stress so that the cortisol and the adrenaline don't start wreaking havoc on hormones, and especially in the category that I specialize in now, which is menopause. So many menopausal women have habits of behavior that are just wreaking havoc on hormones.
Oh, you said so much there. I love it. I love it. 4 things. Oh my gosh, so many things. The first thing is, I completely agree with you that when we are, like, I just was meeting with a friend of mine over the weekend, and she just started having her hot flashes. And she said that it only comes on when she gets excited or frustrated or stressed. I did not experience it that way. Mine just came on anyways. And so that lends to exactly what you're saying right here. So when she gets stressed out, her hormones are going out of whack, and then that's what she's experiencing, those symptoms. So that makes so much sense. And then sleep is so important. I know that it's so important. And hot flashes disrupt the heck out of our sleep. So that with the stress. Now, stress is, I hate even using the word stress because we're all under a certain amount of stress. But I can say I have been under stress probably my entire life. This goes back to childhood, right? Being raised in a dysfunctional household, alcoholic, never knew what was going to happen. Happy, sad, anger, didn't know what was going to happen when I walked into the door. So I lived under a constant stress, and of course, created not great coping mechanisms at that point, and shedded those over my lifetime. And now, like, the first thing that when you say we need to be at peace, I immediately take a deep breath, because I know that I have to take a deep breath, roll my shoulders back, sit back. I literally have to physically relax in order to stay in that peaceful state. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And, relaxation is a mindset. However, you brought something up that's really important. So my undergrad is in psychology, and my first lens that I see the world through is psychology, and I'm a behaviorist. So I am all about creating behaviors. However, if you come from a dysfunctional upbringing, I believe the family of origin starts the behaviors and the habits and the routines and the mindset. So your mommy, daddy, teacher, and preachers really have started some belief systems for you and for everybody else out there and all the listeners. But your mom and dad have taught you a lot of things. And before I got on this call, I was trying to think about my family of origin and some of the things that I learned growing up around money and health and stress. And you got to take a look at your mommy and daddy and how you were raised. And I really do think that you've got to somehow go back and rewrite your story around some of those belief systems.
I believe that 100%. And of course, that's what I do. That's what I do all day long, every day with all my clients. We create new beliefs, because we do get those beliefs from our childhood. Even if you don't have mommy, daddy, uncles, aunts, foster, whatever it might be, anybody around you, what would you say, like before the age of 8 to 10, like they are helping you with these beliefs, right?
For sure.
And then you're creating that. And we don't realize mine was work hard, make money was my financial one. I was very loved as a child. And I think that's how I've gotten through most of my life, is because I did have that foundation of knowing that I was completely loved and I had people in my corner no matter what. As I got older, I realized about the alcoholism, but in the beginning I had a good, secure, stable situation. Otherwise, I'd never be able to survive, I don't think, at this point. But I did have beliefs in my subconscious, or what everybody's, whatever your belief is. I had those beliefs that I did not know that I had. And like you said, it's time to look at those beliefs from your family of origin and see if that's who you are and that's what you want. Rewrite your mission statement. I have all my clients, household, single, with me and my cats, doesn't matter. We all have a mission statement in our household. And are those your beliefs or those handed down beliefs? My dad's biggest thing was integrity and honesty. I do keep that myself. So that is a belief that I'm keeping. Work hard, make money. Hell no. That when I calmed down and relaxed and took a breath, I doubled my income that year. So I totally believe in everything that you're saying. It's not about, that's why I always say it's not about the zeros. It's literally about how you feel. And if you're feeling stressed, you're going to create more opportunities for you to be stressed. If you're feeling at peace, you're going to create more opportunities to be at love and peace and joy. So I love that. That's what you're saying. So let's talk about that for growing up in your childhood. Tell me the overlining theme around money when you were growing up. Was it a peaceful topic, or was it a crazy topic, or was it even a topic?
It was a topic, and it was in our household all the time. So I was raised in sort of a leave it to beaver upbringing. And a lot of people think, oh, how wonderful, Well, I remember my first memory of money was at the age of 4. I was in a grocery store with my mother. And the thought that came to my mind as a little 4-year-old was, there's trouble in paradise. Because I remember I was just as tall, that the conveyor belt was this high, and I could watch my cereal box go by. And I was motivated to go into the grocery store with my mother because I wanted to buy my own cereal. And I wanted the prize, because back in the era that I was growing up, all the cereal boxes had toys in them. And where there was trouble in paradise in my upbringing was my dad would sit out in the parking lot of the grocery store, and my mom would go into the grocery store with my dad's checkbook. And that was back in the 60s. And, both my parents were good people. They had integrity. They were hard workers. But I'm thinking, my mother is a very empowered woman. Why doesn't she have her own money? And in the 60s, women could not have a credit card. And a lot of people don't realize that Billie Jean King tennis match changed a lot for women and money and education and getting a scholarship in school. That was a really significant time in history for women. And when I was a little girl in the 60s, and I saw that my mom didn't only not have her own money, she didn't even sign her own name. She signed my dad's name in that checkbook. Now, I was a little girl, I couldn't read writing, but it was really, really clear to me that my mother didn't have her own money. And so that was my first reminder that money is a mindset. And there was a very, very distinct imprint that happened to me as a little girl. And through the years, I remember hearing my dad say, money doesn't grow on trees. Or if I would go ask for $5 for something, he'd say, what do you think I am, made of money? And I remember these things were all throughout my upbringing. Now, keep in mind, we would have been considered upper class at that time. Big, beautiful house. We had the in-ground pool in the backyard. We got bicycles and Christmas. And I mean, from the outside looking in, you would think that we have money and we're doing fantastic. However, even in the best case scenario, there was some negative, and I would say scarcity, money mindset principles being shared. And we always had money, but there was always this feeling that there could be shortages. Money doesn't grow on trees. Oh my God, where's it going to come from? So I became extremely fiscally conservative as a result. And like I said, I'm a saver more than I'm a spender. And it's because of that scarcity undertone that I grew up with. Now I've turned the mindset of saver into more of a positive thing, because now I realize that, yeah, it's good to save money and be debt free, which I am. And now I got to figure out how to change this saver mindset into a more investor mindset. So that's how I've sort of turned that, because I agree with you. Just saving money for the sake of saving money is not a positive thing. So that's my upbringing in a nutshell. And I have to constantly go in and rewrite the conversations around money for myself, even to this day. And I'm in my 50s and I still have to do some self-talk around money.
I love that you said that, because it never ends. Like, I feel like it never ends. I am as well. And we didn't have an issue growing up. I was probably grew up very similar to you around money. And it was never, and it was an entrepreneur household. So we always had it. I mean, my parents were very broke when I was born, but I don't remember that. So what I remember is we had money, and I had my telephone, and I had my waterbed, and I had my little TV. Now, we worked. I mean, we owned a newspaper distributorship. So I was rolling newspapers at 2 a.m. Like, I've been up at 2 a.m. like my whole life. So but that was just part of that's what we did. I mean, when you have a business in your home, that is what you do. And so I didn't think it was any different. I think it did give me an amazing work ethic. And I also love what I do. And I know you do as well. And so when we love what we do, it's not like work. However, we still need to take that break that I did not take in the very beginning, because I had to keep up with those boys, right? In finance, I was in that masculine era, and I had to keep up with them. And I had kids and responsibilities and animals and parents and lots of things to keep up with. And there's these single young men that have none of that could work me under the table easily, because they had no life. And I had to do it all in order to survive in the financial world, for sure. And my upbringing helped me with that work ethic. And now that I'm looking at it going, okay, now it's time to meditate in the morning, take my detox baths at night, enjoy myself, and play with my clients. Like, I love playing with my clients, and they all become friends, of course. But that lends to the ease that you were talking about earlier, instead of the work hard, make money, and what is money grown on the trees? And same, I totally get all that. And actually it is, because it's paper. But money comes from anywhere, right? Like, I was in this industry. So like you, as a chiropractor, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Like, that's it. That's my one thing. I was going to stay at that one company forever, and that was going to be it. Well, I've moved so many times since then, but to realize that money can come from anywhere, not just necessarily what you're doing right this moment. I would have never thought that I would have sold everything in the Bay Area. I had my first house at 19, sold everything in 2020. I am real estate free for the first time in my entire life. And it's fun as heck, man. I love this. It's so great. I would have never thought that. So in our 50s, things change. And nothing's ever completed. I think we're lifelong learners. It's always going to be a different cycle with money. Let me ask you this. I notice that with my clients, the older they get, we're talking 70s, 80s, they still have the mentality of saving and not spending. And so when I do my financial planning, I make sure that they understand this is the bucket we're going to spend. Like, each decade, you're going to have a new bucket to spend, so that they do spend it. Do you think you're going to have that problem going forward, is not being able to enjoy the money and spend it at that time?
No, and I really do believe in the laws of the universe. I do believe in the law of attraction. I also believe in the law of circulation. And when you're holding on to your money, you're actually broadcasting out to the universe that you are coming from a place of scarcity. So I do believe that there's a balance between spending and saving and giving and contributing. And I also love to put money into businesses, because I do like the concept of passive income. So that's really important to me as as I'm into my 50s and looking at my 60s and 70s. So I'm investing, which is different than saving. It, like I said, it's a different spin on saving for me. However, I do like the idea that you're sharing with your older clients to spend some money, because if you're not spending your money, you are broadcasting out to the universe that you don't have money. So you've got to spend a little.
Yeah, I love that. You got to spend a little. So I just moved to Beverly Hills. I've got that part down. So I just bought a water system, which I totally love, and it's the alkaline water. So I'm very excited. I bought a new couch, and one other big thing I can't remember I bought, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, that was a lot this month. And then of course, a client comes in. I had 2 new clients within like a couple days, and I took a picture. Here's the couch you just helped me buy. Thank you so much. Like, it all lends. And I love to share I believe that money is energy, right? And I believe that it's gratitude. So we all wake up with the same amount of time during the day, and we lend our skills and our time to an employer or our clients as a business owner or our services. And they say thank you in the form of money, because that's what we're trading right now, is money. And so that money goes into our accounts and builds up. And that's just a lot of gratitude and appreciation for who we are. That's why I believe we also have a money ceiling. What do we think that we're worthy of? And when we get beyond that ceiling, we will sabotage it and bring it back down to what we think it is, what we feel it is. And so that money is gratitude to me. So I can't wait to take my energy of my gratitude and do like what you said, send it over to another business or buy something from another business owner. Like, I was so excited to buy my water system from this young guy that owns his company. And he came over and shared everything with me. And I'm like, oh, here, I can't wait to give you money, because now you're going to go take that money and you're going to have your family and you're going to support your lifestyle. And the more we can put out there to other, like you said, your businesses, now, whatever those businesses are doing, your energy is with them. And so now they are doing good in the works. So I love that. I love that. Tell me how you like Florida.
Oh my goodness. I love it here. So I lived in California for 25 years, and I loved living there as well. However, my husband, who I've been with for 15 years now, had a business here on the East Coast, and his territory was from Florida to New York. So believe it or not, he was commuting from California to the East Coast every week to work.
Yeah.
And so I said, if we're going to move to the East Coast, it's got to be somewhere warm, because I just can't do the cold weather. And I'm originally from Canada, so I grew up with snow and cold weather and never enjoyed it. I just tolerated it. So I'm happy to be here in Florida. I love it here. I love the weather. And do I dare say I love the politics? It hasn't felt like COVID here, because everybody's outdoors, they're at the beach, they're swimming in their pools, they're walking around every single day. And so when I say politics, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. There's this, I don't know, there's this feeling of well-being here. And I would have never, ever thought that I would say well-being in Florida in the same sentence growing up, because I grew up in Canada, where everybody from the eastern side of Canada came down to Florida for spring break. And I remember thinking as a young girl, why would you go to Florida when you can go to the Caribbean or Mexico or wherever? Well, now that I'm here in Florida, I absolutely love it here. And I've been here 4 years now. And there's a new energy feeling that's happening in this state right now. And I'm surprised that I love it here so much. So thank you for asking.
Absolutely. I'm excited for you. I love warm as well. And so I would have never thought Florida either. And so I love that you're there, because that gives me hope, right? I mean, I am literally a vagabond right now. I'm just like up and moving, like every year I feel like I'm in a different place, which is great. And it's really fun. I would have never thought that. So maybe I'll come see you in Florida. You never know.
Well, I've got a guest room that's all yours whenever you want to come and visit and just check it out.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love that. Okay, another question. I know that we, with law of attraction and, like you said, the laws of the universe, we want to set up our day as best as we can. And so I have my morning rituals. I have my evening rituals as well in order for me to get a good night's sleep. So any tips and tricks that you can give anybody out there on just daily rituals that can help you set your life up for a less of a stressful day and a more of a positive one?
Yes, and I love rituals. We all know that it's spelled Rituals. I like to spell it Richuals.
Rituals. Oh, that's good.
Rituals. So rituals contribute to the richness of life. And the richness of life, part of it is money because that is the currency of the day. And to your point, that's how we exchange goods with people. When you do good service, you get paid. Now, my morning ritual, I'm a big advocate of routine sleep. I believe in going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time. So I start my day with a meditation. I always start with thank you, God, because I believe in the power of the universe, and I do believe in God. So I say thank you, God, every single morning. I reflect on my dreams because I believe that my dreams have some insights for me, and that'll become clear to you when I get to my night rituals. So that's my morning. I get up, I get out of bed. I'm a coffee drinker, so I have a coffee. I go straight to my home office, which I'm in right now. And I'm an organizational person. So I've rebranded OCD to be Organized Committed Diva. So I'm an Organized Committed Diva. Yep.
I love you.
Yep. So I'm OCD. I'm an Organized Committed Diva. So I come into my home office every single morning and get the lay of the land. I read my emails. I take a look at my finances. I go through my paperwork. If I have a pile of things, if I have bills, I like to know what's going on in my life. And oh, by the way, everybody needs at least one filing cabinet. That's like a big deal. I'm shocked when I meet adults that don't have a filing cabinet and they don't keep their life highly organized. So that's really important. So that's my morning ritual. Then I go work out because I think that's really important to get movement into the body. And I really do believe life is movement. I eat 2 to 3 meals a day. I'm a light eater, which I do have some information, suggestions, and ideas for older women to think about when you're eating, just to help with some of the symptoms of menopause. And then at nighttime, when it's time to go to bed, I go to bed restfully and I do a check-in. I make sure there's nothing living in my body at a cellular level that is disturbing me. So I sort of do what I call a systems check. I go, is there anything that I haven't done yet today? Have I procrastinated on anything? Is there anything that I need to say to somebody because I need to clear something up? The other thing I do, and I'll just reach down here, you got to have something like this. And what I do so that it doesn't live in my body at a cellular level, I'm all about keeping lists. It's part of being OCD and organized. So organization is key for me. It's part of the ritual. And when I go to sleep, I say thank you to God again. And then I also say, if there's anything that I have missed, or if there's anything that I need to do that is divine, then bring it to me in my dreams. And that's why reflecting on my dreams in the morning is really important, because I really do get messages when I sleep. I pay attention to them. And I do leverage what I call ancient spirit technology, or the Holy Spirit, or God, whatever your belief system is. I believe it's ancient. It lives within us. It's spiritual. And the technology is at a cellular level. So when I go to sleep, I just give it all up and say, okay, is there anything else I need to do? And I say thank you. And I go to bed so at peace. I always have a good sleep. And I know menopausal women don't always have a good sleep. And there was a time in my menopausal journey where I was waking up at 3 a.m., just like a lot of other women say. That's kind of the magic wake up time. I don't wake up anymore because of my rituals and some of the things that I have fine-tuned for myself. And then I start the day all over again. And with my lists, I can, in a very structured way, input fun times. I can meet for lunch with people. I can get on a podcast. I'm on a ton of committees. I can go out and do things. I can travel because I know where my energy is. And then I would also share with the listeners, know your own biorhythms. I know when my energy is high and I know when my energy is low. So I work with the rhythm of the day that is authentic for me.
God, I can't wait to listen to this podcast back and take notes, because I can't take notes and be a host right now. So I can't wait to go back and listen to this. You are gold. You are absolutely gold. So the rhythms of your body. I've been listening to my body for the last several years now. And that was a new thing for me. Listening to my body was like, what? Like, you just keep going. Like, you just keep going until you like fall. And so I did. And now it's like listening to my body, like, you're tired. Oh, sit down. Like, what? Sit down? Are you crazy? You can't sit, right? And single mom raising the kids and businesses and rentals and craziness. You couldn't maybe at that time, but putting that into your life is so important to be able to, it's okay to relax. In fact, one of my good friends I grew up with, she's like, so what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm actually, right now I'm actually watching The Crown. And she's like, no, you're not. What else are you doing? I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing my nails and I'm looking at my emails. And she's like, yeah, you are never just sitting down doing one thing. And that's just kind of me, like you said, OCD, but I enjoy being busy. Now I'm still relaxing, still enjoying my life, as long as I put the F word in it. And I love the F word, my favorite word, but it's fun. But how are you feeling? So pay attention to your body and I love your words. You're authentic. You are being authentic to your body and what it feels. That's so good. I can't wait to go back and take notes. Question. You said another term that I've never heard before is, what'd you say? It's like the routine bedtime. Now, I've not heard the word routine, like the same time every day. I've never heard that. So that's a great point. Tell me more about that. And do you do that on the weekends as well?
I do. Now, when I was younger, I was not the CEO of my life, and a very good chiropractic friend of mine shared that with me. CEO is Chief Energy Officer.
Oh,
and when I was younger, I was not the good CEO of my life. I didn't know how to manage my energy. You know, I'd be up late. I'd go to parties. I'd stay up late, try and get up early. You know, prior to being a chiropractor, I was in corporate America for 10 years doing finance, of all things, which, by the way, I grew up in a very financial family. So I love managing money and I'm very good at it, I think. I love managing numbers, but I was not a good manager of energy. And now that I'm an older woman, sleep is my highest ranking word, and it'll outrank fitness, food, fun, family. It outranks everything, because if I'm sleep deprived, I'm not making really good choices. So I actually schedule my sleep, and I like to get to bed early and I like to get up early. So I don't stay up late anymore like I used to. And sleep is really important. And I've actually balanced out my hormones and my weight and my stress using sleep as my number one, I was going to say weapon, but I don't like using that
About regulator.
Regulator. I try to avoid those aggressive words in my language. That's one of the other things I'm trying to do, which I'm also a huge advocate of managing your words wisely, because they dictate and determine a lot for you. So yes, it's a good regulator. And I would share with anybody that is struggling with sleep, you've got to come up with routine around your sleep. And before you go to bed, you don't want to be doing active things or watching aggressive shows or doing things that make you feel negative or angry. So I really dial the lights down in my house before I know I'm going to bed. I manage my food before I go to bed. And sleep is such a high-ranking word. I can't emphasize how important sleep is. And for anybody that's struggling with sleep, there's some great resources and some great books out there. And just a little side note, I would avoid sleep medications. A lot of people rely on sleep meds to go to bed, and I'm just completely against sleep meds. They mess your brain up, and the long-term side effects are just not worth it.
How about melatonin?
I wouldn't do melatonin because here's the pathway. So first thing in the morning, if you have a good protein-rich breakfast, the protein are your amino acids. The amino acids convert to serotonin, and that serotonin converts to melatonin. It's actually a neurological pathway. And when patients used to come to my practice, specifically menopausal women who couldn't sleep, I would always ask them, are you eating a good breakfast and are you managing your stress? And by the way, serotonin is the pathway for depression. So depression meds, antidepressants, are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They're SSRIs, because what they're trying to do is stimulate that serotonin pathway, by the way. And a lot of women that are on antidepressants can't sleep because what they're trying to do is up level that pathway. And as long as you're stimulating that pathway with antidepressants, it's hard for that pathway to get to melatonin for a good night's sleep. So if you are struggling with sleep, for example, along that pathway is tryptophan. So Thanksgiving is coming. We all know when we have a turkey dinner, we get really sleepy. Well, you can actually go to Whole Foods and actually get tryptophan, which is early in that pathway. And if the tryptophan isn't enough, later in the pathway, there's something called 5-HTP, which you can also get at Whole Foods. So if you are struggling with sleep, try tryptophan first and then 5-HTP if the tryptophan isn't strong enough. But more important than that is the foods that you eat. You want to make sure that you're stimulating enough amino acids that can convert that pathway to melatonin. So to answer your question, Jennifer, just to take melatonin, which is at the end of the pathway, it's not really doing how the body was hardwired. And you really want to learn how to drive the neurology of your brain, your central nervous system. And if you can get a good, healthy dose of sleep and food, and in my opinion, good chiropractic care helps as well because it stimulates the nerve system, then you can actually stimulate good sleep cycles. You can stimulate good hormone pathways, good digestion, and, add a little bit of movement in there as well so that you make your body a fat burning machine instead of a fat storage machine. And then some of the foods that people are choosing to eat are not really good for the sleep cycle, hormone regulation, or digestion. So you've got to learn how to manage all of that. And that's why I say you've got to be the CEO of your life. You've got to be your chief energy officer. And as adults, we don't need a lot of food to stimulate us. Food is energy, food is chemistry. And, choose your foods wisely. Find your sleep routine that is authentic to your biorhythm. like I said, I like to get to bed early and get up early. And then through the day, I know when my energy is high and when my energy is low. So I know low energy tasks to do and high energy tasks to do. And I've figured out how to put different tasks in different places in my schedule as well. So it's a lot of information to your question.
No, I love that. That's so perfect.
And
it
you don't just pop pills. Just, you know, that's the bottom line to all this. You don't want to just think that popping pills and even vitamin supplementation. I mean, yes, we do need some depending on your body, but don't think that popping pills are going to solve the problem for anything. You've really got to take a look at some lifestyle habits.
I love that. And this tees me up because we are all, I mean, I can't wait to listen to this back and just take a ton of notes. And you're right. Like you started from, I'm talking about sleep, and you're starting from what are you having for breakfast? Like it's not just a one and done. It's a whole lifestyle. So we want to learn more from you, which tees me up to your amazing gift. Tell us about the Club Menopause. We have 4 minutes left. So
okay, great. I'll make it quick. So you've got to go to my website. It's clubmenopause.com. It's really easy, Club Menopause. And there's the link there to my intentions workshop. And what you're going to get, it's free. So go ahead and take advantage and invite all your friends and family to do it. The intentions workshop is going to help you to get ready for your rituals of life. And it's going to help you to be the CEO of your life. I recommend you do it now because there's a lot of exercises in there. And I recommend that you do it every 90 days so that you can set intentions. You can investigate some bad habits that you have and mindset. And you're going to go into your body at a cellular level and just kind of unravel some things that have been holding you back and sabotaging you from your best life.
I love it. I love it. This is so perfect for a lot of our listeners and myself as well. So I just want to say thank you so much. I know that you could be off in your fairyland in Florida with your beautiful, gorgeous husband on the beach that I always see all your pictures and have an amazing life. And you literally could never even do anything else and you'd have a completely fulfilling, amazing life. So I want to thank you for keep it going because I still need to learn from you. I still want to learn more, getting into our 60s, into our 70s. We're all going to have new things and it is different. I feel like every 10 years, my body's different. My mind's different. My priorities are different. And I just really want to say thank you so much for being in my life and being in a lot of women's lives. And you're helping everyone stay healthy, happy, and free. Like it is free. And when you mentioned, I'm going to totally flip back to my first marriage, I had to take his checkbook. Yep, I had to take his checkbook and I had to get permission from him at the bank to do anything. And I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, granted, it was a small town, but still. So I am right with you. We need to fight for women's rights. We need to fight for our health. We need to fight to know our own bodies because what we hear out in the media and what we read and it's not accurate for ourselves. Money-wise, health-wise, menopause-wise, none of it. It's not unique to you. So learn your body, be the chief energy officer of your body and your own CEO as well of your finances and hook up with our beautiful Dr. Leslie Hewitt and keep coming back to Rock My Finances. Tell me how this was for you today. What was your biggest takeaway from our amazing podcast?
Well, you are a reminder, Jennifer, how I love doing business with women. I know that as a woman, you've gone through your ups and downs in life, as have I, and you bring all that to everything that you do, including this podcast. You're personable, you're intimate, and I just love hanging out with sisters that just bring it, and you're just so real. So it's been an absolute delight hanging out with you.
Thank you so much, my dear. And I can't wait to hang out with you and your Club Menopause. Really excited about that. So we'll all see you around. Come back next week, every Thursday, 1 o'clock live. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Check out our podcasts on every platform and share Dr. Leslie's info and this amazing Club Menopause. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. Leslie.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my